Hello, goddesses. This is your girl, Lock Lotus. Come on in. Come on in. Oh, I just wanted to connect with the goddesses out there. And there's a subject matter that has come across and within the beauty industry and in the lock community. And I really want to take a minute to step back and talk about how we receive our information. We live in a day of information and technology. We live in a day where the programming of the people is constant to the point where you get numb to the fact that you're being programmed in a lot of situations. Like we unconsciously are programmed daily in the information that we receive. So I just wanted to take a moment today and just kind of talk about how we go about receiving our information and how to internalize it and apply it to our specific needs. So it's tough. In the beauty industry, especially when it comes with a beauty standard, we have the tendency to want to fall into the narrative of the standard, whatever that is in this moment. And I'm going to always preach this. If you've seen me talk about it on other platforms and my other YouTube channel, I'm going to always preach this. Like, this is never not going to be a part of me. I hope I said that right. But it is. The beauty standard is tossing us to and fro. In the age of technology, information, and then you add beauty industry and beauty standards on top of it, we are all over the place with our everyday practices, our beauty practices, our daily hygiene, our daily routine when it comes to our beauty practices. We are all over the place. One day is this, the next day is something else, and then a month later it's back to what it was, and then a year later you find out how it wasn't successful for anybody. So I just want to encourage you to pay attention to the information that comes across. Um, Include your common sense. Include what's always worked for you because everybody is individual. Include those things and then compare it to what you're being told. Take a moment to do a little research. There's nothing, there's too much information out there to not do research on anything anybody tells you to do, especially if it's coming across, social media, the internet, any of that. Just find another way to verify what you are taking in to see if it's true for you in your spirit. Um, I really don't want to get into the what's going on in the beauty industry and what's being said now that I really kind of don't agree with because I'm putting together a panel of um, stylists, licensed stylists that have an opinion, and as we all do, you know, and I'm curious to see what they have to say. I don't want to get on here and just start, run, running off what Miladies have to say because I did consult in her, and if you know what Miladies is, then you know what Miladies is. If you don't, then you may not need to be given information. But um, yeah, so I could do that, but I really would like to just get in a room with some seasoned stylists and allow the conversation to flow. Sometimes it helps to see, a different angle of opinion. And but again, even with that, even with the panel, even with all of that, still allow yourself to internalize the information and make it right for you because what may work for somebody else may not work for you. What worked for the masses may not work for you. Um, that's just the way that it is. We have to get to a space, especially going where we're going, we have to, as goddesses, we have to get to a space where we are very in tune with our intuition and allow our intuition, trust our intuition enough to move based on what it is telling us. Um, you should know when your ears hear information that does not resonate with your spirit, and if that's the case, run with that. And I know it can be hard. It's hard for me sometimes because the programming is so thick, and the programming is so deep to the point where I still find myself trying to deprogram from information that was fed to me and go out and get my own information and make it make sense for myself. So, as goddesses, we got to tune in. We have to tune in to our own intuition and allow that to navigate us through even just something as simple and grand as our beauty practices and what we do for, our skin, our body, our hair, all those things that the narrative have its claws in and want to toss us to and fro with it. We have to be able to take our own power back and understand that we can dictate and determine what we need. And nobody has to tell us. We can get it in a dream. Y'all dream, don't you? I dream. I can dream like you wouldn't believe. Like, pay attention to your dreams. I remember dreaming about this essential oil. It was a white rose essential oil. And I never have heard of it. And in the dream, it was white writing with black, a little thin black border around it that in all caps that spelled out white rose essential oil. And I never heard of it. And I woke up, looked it up, and it actually existed. And I promise you, the things you need to know will come to you in your dreams. If I'm not mistaken, was it the lady that was from was it Honeypot? Was it the Honeypot owner that said that she had a dream that had something to do with her putting the business together and how everything needed to flow or something like that? I don't know. I can't remember who it was, but I feel like it was Honeypot, but I could be wrong. But formulations will come to you in your dreams on how to mix your own product. Information will come to you in dreams and in order to tell you how to move from day to day. Like, there's a lot of direction and instruction and wisdom in your dreams that no one can tell you, that works just for you. That's a conversation with you and your higher self. So don't be so quick to jump on the bandwagon of things and rest in that. There's this guy on here, the African hair god, and I ran across his page, and I look at a few videos. I look at some hairstyles, things like that. I like it. I like his whole concept and how he's trying to move and shake with natural hair. I always have respect for somebody that has respect for natural hair. So he definitely gets that from me. But I know he had on his platform the last month or so where they were talking about how there was a wave that went through the natural hair industry. And I remember this wave. It went through the natural hair industry, and it was no oils, no butters on your natural hair, your loose natural hair. And there was a certain cut that they did with it. And I said, and I watched a couple of his podcast and tried to get the gist of what was going on, but what I got was there was a certain cut that they did with the hair in its natural state to kind of flow and sit a certain way, and the curly cut, and then there was like no oils, no butters, and they just had like this way of doing it to where your hair is supposed to flourish, and I remember hearing about it, and I wasn't too thrilled about it. I didn't think that was a good idea. I even was trying to get into, because this is when natural hair was like just really hitting. People like really started to ride the wave of it. And I remember trying to get the cuts down when I got in there and started trying to learn how to do the curly cut on my own, because I didn't. I think I had tried to get with Diva curls. I think they had a cut system they had or something like that. I reached out to a lady named the Curl Whisperer, I think, um, because as I started to try to understand cutting natural hair in its natural state to produce this shape and everything, I ran into some things that made that seem kind of hard to do. And when you got different curl patterns on one head and you're trying to cut the hair in its curly state, it's gonna hit a little different, you know. Um, when you have natural hair and there is no, additional supplemental um, hydration going on with it, it's gonna be something. And I didn't really agree with that because just from how I've moved with my hair all these years, I couldn't imagine not putting anything on it, considering it was Afro kinky, uh, African American hair. So I didn't really see how that was gonna really pan out, but I just I left it. I ended up helping a few ladies fix their curly cuts because when you blow them out, they look a mess. You can imagine cutting hair in its natural state with several textures throughout the head. When you blow it out, it looks like Edward Scissorhands just went in there and just went to work. But I didn't really think that was gonna pan out. So now what's been happening in the in that area, in that world, is they're now talking about the people that had the cuts and the people that were doing the cuts and all of that. They're now talking about how that wasn't a really good idea. Um, it was one lady that I watched his video, and it was really long, and I was so invested. And she was just really telling her whole journey about how her hair went downhill, and she showed pictures of how her hair went downhill. And I could see it. I don't know how, but that just goes to show that I'm sure her growing up, she never went without putting something on her hair to help nourish it. And to just come out of the gate and just not put nothing on it without context, because that's the main thing. That's the main thing, is the context of what's being said. Does it all apply to you? The context is what makes the difference. So, the hair produce sebaceous. It's produced sebum. The hair produced sebum. So, from the sebaceous gland. So that lets you know that your body naturally has an internal system that produces oils that's needed for your hair strands. They play a role. That's why it's built into your system. So, but there's context to not needing them at all. And that is what we're going to talk about on the panel: the context and how to receive your information. Um, but yeah, the fact that the body needs that, I just don't see how that is a good thing. And it showed, because the lady, her story was so sad. I felt so bad for her, and she said it's taken her a long time to get her hair where it is now. But I that just goes to show, though, that how our programming will allow us to sink into a system of thought that goes completely against what we know is common sense, and that is called cognitive dissonance. So we have to make sure that we don't slide into that cognitive dissonance as we're receiving our information through internet and social media. Tap into your inner goddess and ask her what you need sometimes, and see how that works out for you, and trust it. Whatever is being said, trust it, even if it's going against what the masses are saying. Trust what your intuition says when it comes to how to move in your beauty practices and how to handle your extended consciousness, because that's what this is. That's why you can walk in a room and the hair stand up on the back of your neck. Is reading the room and relaying a message to you to be understood. So allow your extended consciousness to speak to you and tell you what your strands need from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. And rest in that. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get up off of here. Thank you for your attention if you have made it to the end of the video. And I hope you tune in. Subscribe to the channel. I'm actually going to start doing more content over here versus my Instagram and my Facebook, because I'm kind of trying to phase those two platforms out and be more active here, more active in the shorts, more active in the community posts, and just make this my main platform. So definitely subscribe if you haven't subscribed so far. Like the content. Let me know what you think about what I'm saying so far. And please, please, please stay tuned. Hit the notification bell, because when we come back with a panel of seasoned stylists and what we have to say about the state of the beauty industry and the information that is being sent out over the airwaves when it comes to our beauty practices, I want you to be tuned in for that. So thank you so much and have a great day.